Hey guys, so in the past I've talked about the crypto called Zeph, and as you probably are aware if you've got any interest in that cryptocurrency, for a microcap, it had huge interest. It exploded in price up to around, I think, $40, and then it exploded back down to around $4, and there was huge FUD around the crypto then, and a lot of people thought it was going to crash. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some thoughts on Zephyr and where it's at, and I'm going to share with you the statement that Zeph made about the FUDs that happened. So let's get into it. So yeah, guys, I'm basically going to talk through this article that the Zeph team released. I also want to mention the cryptocurrency Space because that experienced a similar crash. Now, Space or their team didn't release an article like this, and it makes me not. I still think the Space project has good fundamentals and will probably grow a lot from where it is now. But I think the lack of communication from them is really telling and makes me want to stay away from that project. But Zeph and Space, a lot of people who bought Space also bought Zeph, and they both have similar market caps as micro cap projects. And I think a lot of people who were getting scared by Space sold their Zeph, and then Zeph dropped at the same time. And as you'll see, there was bad actors in there then that were manipulating things as well. This is just really interesting to see the manipulation that goes on in cryptocurrencies as we read through this article. But just so you know, I'm still quite bullish on Zeph. I think it's a fantastic project. I'll talk about that as we go through this. But anyway, let's start with this article. So it's called Zephyr Protocol and just the update. So they said, addressing FUD and subsequent inadvertent protocol stress test. Background, this article will serve as a post-mortem on the recent FUD that resulted in a significant price drop of Zeph. The goal of this article is to outline what happened for the quiet majority of Zeph holders who didn't follow the drama as it unfolded. Opening thoughts. In this article, we are going to refute claims and respond to questions that were raised. But firstly, an apology. Although the Zephyr team didn't instigate this situation could have been cooled or outright avoided had we been a bit smarter and our communication on community channels been better. Now, I love this already, just taking ownership for the issues rather than playing the blame game. So I really appreciate that from the team. The result of this FUD has come at the cost of Zeph holders, in particular those that sold it in a panic, because there was a lot of panic sellers, and that's basically what drove this, was people panic selling. Really off the back of what was happening with Space. And I don't think that's mentioned in this article, but that was, all this FUD came off the back of that, and people saw an opportunity to FUD Zeph and short it, I'm guessing, or, create forks, which we'll get into. For those who have lost in this situation, we are sorry that this happened the way that it did. Also, a forewarning, discussion here and in the screenshots will be more candid than previous articles given the situation and in the spirit of transparency. Community communication strategy moving forward. It's clear that increased communication is a must. In the past, we have chosen to keep our cards close to our chest. The goal of this was professionalism first and foremost and not causing FUD targeting others. There is a middle ground here to be struck. We still want to keep a level of professionalism. Discord and Telegram often is an unproductive place for developers to inhabit. It sucks time and energy away from the important real work as developers first. Recognizing the negatives, taking steps back was an intentional decision, hoping for the community to thrive tangentially with development priorities. As you will know, I am terrible at pronouncing words. I'm just so bad at it. However, community sentiment is imperative, and we underestimated the effect that small but loud voices can have, clearly. So what they're saying is something that I completely resonate with and understand, and I'm sure you guys do, is that they're trying to concentrate on developing, and then, getting into community chats to them seems like a lot of work and distracted from the key work, but then they realize that not being involved in those community chats gave people large opportunities to take power of the network and or of the community and FUD the community. That's why I really like Cubic and how their developers are quite outspoken and very engaging on Twitter and in the Cubic Discord. Anyway, so let's keep going. Drama, timeline, and breakdown. So background. Over the last 24 hours, there has been a break from one community member in particular, known as Devon on Discord, and previously Zeph God on X. So you can find this person now. They've changed the Fanovian here. Devon Zeph God, the Fanovian, was an extremely active and vocal member of the Zephyr protocol community. Zephyr's core principles still resonate with them. They and other unknown developers worked on a project called ZephyrSwap.io, a community-driven DEX initiative. Clearly, this could serve as a win-win for Zephyr and Devon's project, and for this, we were awarded the community contributor role to Devon. In hindsight, this was a mistake. We received a lot of criticism for not being as active and not being as supportive of Zephyr Swap as some community members desired. It was clear that a lot of work went into Zephyr Swap, and we only wished success on that endeavour, giving the benefit of the doubt enough to promote an atmosphere of community initiatives. Now, this is important thing is that you got to see the parallels here. Is right now there's on Caspa network, there's the Casplex team working on KRC20 and building out that ecosystem, and then on the Cubic network you've got a team working on QX, building the DEX and building liquidity pools. But in both those cases, the Casplex team, for example, are completely different from the Cas core development team. They're just because this project is open source, these people, and community driven, these people could just build on the network themselves. And the same with Cubic, the team building QX and the liquidity pools with Q Silver, they're completely separate from the core development team, which is Sergei Ivancheglo. And then with Zephyr here, you've got the Zeph team who developed the Zeph protocol, but the people who are building ZephyrSwap.io were just developers who are part of the community, and were working on this themselves. So anyway, they wouldn't be supportive of that in these situations because they're not actually working on the project. And if it failed, if the Zephyr Swap failed, that's got nothing to do with the Zeph core team. But anyway, we'll kind of unwind what was going on here in a minute. And I think this is just an interesting learning for any crypto projects, and just seeing the manipulation that goes on. So the reality is that Devon was loud in public boards, but they were very quiet in DMs with us. Here's the most relevant part of our DMs with each other. More context will be at the bottom on the article for those wanting more. Basically, they're just going to be saying in these conversations that they were trying to discuss the Zephyr Swap and were interested in it and wanted to share that information with to talk to Devon about, but they just weren't as vocal or as interested in talking to the Zephyr team as would have been expected. So we can't know the goal of what the goal was of Devon here, why he was so apprehensive to allow the Zephyr team to get more directly involved, thus allowing us to throw our weight behind Zephyr Swap. I'll tell you what it is in a minute, what the reasoning is. But anyway, with the benefits of hindsight too, it's hard to understand the intentions of naming Zephyr Swap with such obvious intentionality of brand association, but not desiring oversight or insight from the Zephyr team. It would seem to be nothing short of a major blessing for its success if we were able to support it, even incorporate it into a core Zephyr protocol initiative. So see what's going on here. They've built something on the Zephyr network, and this Devon person, they have called it Zephyr Swap, so they're obviously really want to be part of the Zephyr community, really want the Zephyr team, it would appear, to be involved in this. But then when the Zephyr team reaches out about it and wants to put their backing behind it, Devon, who isn't a developer that works with them, is an individual developer using this open source network, has no interest in kind of working with them on this. So anyway, the Zephyr team goes on to say, it was a red flag at the time, but we didn't want to go this project before it even got off the ground, and we did attempt to put pressure back on Zephyr Swap. We're a community to be more open with us in the future. So then it goes to instigation. DMs have been silent for a long time. When this tweet thread was posted by this guy Devon, basically we'll just call him. So he said, what's happening with Zeph? Core developers neglected the community, ignored moderators and requests, despite having resources refused to fund listings and incentives, so we are going to fork the entire project with new developers and protocol changes and transparency thread. And then they said, whether it's extreme negligence or malice, we can't be sure 100%, but a few things are obvious. Developers are earning 5% of mine block rewards no matter what on top of a 500k pre-mine. Recently, the main developer claimed to be pushing GitHub updates. Turns out they were, but there's more. The update was commenting out a line of code, changing nothing in the code itself, but it shows as a Git update. People fell for it since most people don't have the technical knowledge or even bother checking the code. Zephyr is a fork of Monero with JED stablecoin implementation. Make no mistake, fundamentally, it's a very strong project, but negligence and empty promises of management ruined it. Moreover, devs haven't yet given us with a view key of their fund wallet to check pre-mine spending. So what now? Is there a chance of recovery? Zephyr has broken every single market trend and structure. Every pump was immediately sold into by what we suspect are core developers. So sadly, it's unlikely. More information on new fork independent of Zephyr coin coming tomorrow. Okay, and this was all off the back of Space started crashing big time, and then Zeph crashed in line with it, because most people who invested in Space also invested in Zeph. They both had similar market caps, so people were kind of thinking, okay, if Space is doing this, then Zeph is going to do the same. At the same time, probably this guy Finovian, who is Devon, they probably, and this is me just speculating, but they probably had a large holding of Zeph as well, and probably some of the people they were working with did too, and they probably started selling their Zeph at that price as well and crashing the price further. It broke its final resistance point, so it was going into what they call in crypto a death spiral, where it looked like it was going to zero, and then they released this FUD at the same time, which is very convincing. But even before I go on and read Zeph's team's response to this, you got to realize what's going on here is that these guys, they're, it's kind of clear what they're saying. They're just talking about the core developers being negligent, untrustworthy, but then, and lying to people basically. But then they get down to saying that Zephyr is a fork of Monero already. They just made a point of that kind of unnecessarily, and they said that's fundamentally very strong, but the issue is the team working on it. And then they said that there's, no chance of recovery really, or maybe there is, but the Zephyr team is messing it up so much that they're never going to be able to fix this. But then they end up saying that they're going to make a fork of Zephyr coin. So basically this is like, I think it's called a coup de grace or a cash grab, or if you want, they're trying to steal this project where the whole Zephyr team has put all this work into this project, developed it, and these guys are trying to come in then and usurp them and the community by getting the community to leave the original Zeph project and join their fork of it, which is going to be the exact same project. It's just going to be the exact same project with this guy Devon and Finovian and his team leading it, and then the Zeph team will be left, and obviously he'll profit a lot of money from that. He'll inherit one of the greatest projects, or potentially one of the greatest projects of the future of crypto, and definitely one of the most revolutionary developments in crypto recently, just by usurping a community. It's pretty clever, and it's just insane to watch all that happen. So anyway, let me read on what they say here. So this came as quite a surprise, to put it mildly. We haven't heard anything from him at all. No DMs, no questions were posed to us, purely an attempt to draw interest to a new fork. So they're suggesting as well that this guy never reached out, never said what's happening. He just went straight into this. And anyways, then they just shared some things that people, that this guy was scamming. That he was trying to start his own fork by funding Zeph, and just some general stuff like that. And anyway, they're without saying it specifically, they're just saying what other people were saying. And then they go on to just make some general points like that again. So inadvertent protocol stress test. So then they just said, let's take a moment to reflect on the silver lining of this situation. And this is the most important thing, really. Once again, we get the opportunity to see Zephyr weather the storm without any risk to the ZSD's Zephyr stablecoin peg. Price impact recovery after initial response. Now, that's really important. So if you guys understand what Zeph is, it's meant to fix what happened with Terra Luna. Terra Luna, once it started crashing, it lost its peg. And once it's lost its peg, people who had millions in Luna ended up with only a few dollars overnight because the whole project crashed overnight. What happened with Zeph is the project crashed, but the stablecoin did not lose its peg, and it was one of the best stress tests you could get for a currency like this, and proved that it works as well as it does. So then they share some pictures of how it actually recovered from this crash and kept its stablecoin peg. So more Zeph were added to the reserve ratio dip, stablecoins redeemed, ZSD rate in Zeph increased, more ZRS issued to Zeph reserve providers, ZRS rate hit and recovering. Protocol is working flawlessly. And that's the most important thing. This isn't any real world assets backing. This isn't centralized. It's decentralized, and it's completely algorithmic, just like Terra Luna was, but it actually works and managed to weather the storm that was going on. So then just response, ignored moderator requests. So not true, we have, so you know that they ignored moderator requests. Said, not true, we have had lengthy discussions with moderators and we do appreciate their input. A screenshot from the mods channel given to Devon somehow, but the response was omitted. So they didn't give the response to that the Zephyr team gave. Firstly, Silman was actually an amazing mod and genuinely cared about Zephyr and its success, likely still does. This is off the back of the Discord environment. There's a lot of pressure on mods and developers, understandable as investors have money on the line and are betting on Zephyr's success. This is an unfortunate result of underwater investors. Zephyr had a massive and fast rise and pressure builds as price declines. Here's a message sent to mods chat post all-time highs. So basically, just what we're saying here, what the guys are saying here again, is that Zeph had such a quick rise, such a quick all-time high. There's a lot of pressure on a development team that's just trying to build out something regardless of price when people have invested and they're losing money and getting stressed out. So it just shows that they were talking to the moderators and Braver Crypto just recently. So then they just comment on new listings. They said listings are unfortunately expensive and are an extremely challenging process. We have funds available for listing, but we have seen the appetite shift. Kraken, for instance, posted a pro-privacy tweet just to reverse that decision not long ago. So again, remembering that not only is Zephyr a stablecoin, but it's also a privacy stablecoin, which makes it completely unique, the first of its kind, and that's what's so great about it. But a lot of exchanges and investors are actually really worried about privacy coins because of regulation issues. So they said it is important to not burn bridges, but it's no secret that many central exchanges are underhanded and it's a major concern of ours. It's easy to scream when Binance and Discord, but the reality isn't even close to that simple. We don't want to use funds just to get what is tantamount to scammed if they delist or don't drive any new interest. So important point here is that I think to get listed on Binance, I've heard it costs like $1 million. So Zeph could pay $1 million and then within, a month, a week, a month, 6 months, a year, Binance then, due to Zeph being a privacy coin, could decide to unlist it. So it's not as simple as just listed on every exchange possible as quick as possible. We don't, so we are pushing for ZSD and Zeph combined listings, but there is hesitation to list stablecoins. Haven't heard much regarding the rationale or what is needed from us. We've managed to pull outstanding volume on our current exchanges, so it's hard to not feel at a loss. We certainly are going to be expected to be able to support CSD on new listings, and this is connected directly with the upcoming hard fork, as the changes will make this much more practically possible. serve as a USD alternative, if not replacement in the future. We need CSD listings on multiple exchanges with good liquidity to allow transfers of funds between and bring people into the Zephyr ecosystem. So their goal is targeting replacing USDT, which goes completely against the traditions of crypto, because USDT is completely centralized and controlled by big money rather than a completely decentralized currency like Zeph. And the facts are that Tether right now is the top stablecoin, but it's almost definite that the regulators and just I guess trust me that there's a good chance that Tether is going to get targeted in a big way in 2025 or maybe 2026, and it's going to lead to a lot of FUD and crypto dropping. And I would not keep my money in Tether as a stable coin if I was you. I'd pull it out, pay any tax you have to, but pull it out into a bank's and traditional systems for now if you can, when you're taking profits from this bull run. So development progress, particularly on the upcoming hard fork, it is true that their progress has been slower than anticipated and our communication should have been better. So they're just talking about their work, that they're slow in some of their developments. The key changes is protocol level changes addressing the minting and redeeming fees, particularly CSD. The changes we have in mind have serious repercussions if we don't nail them, and we are intentionally taking our time ensuring. So basically they're just saying here that they're working hard behind the scenes and trying to make sure that they don't mess anything up. As the window for minting more ZRS opens when the reserve ratio drops, we are monitoring extremely closely the outcome, ensuring that changes that we plan to make are correct and safe. Development work for this is done at a private repo. We are testing and finalizing changes we want to make. So basically, I don't want to go into too much detail of all this, but they're working hard to make sure that their protocol works as planned and there's no mistakes in there. So then in the development fund, also there was questions raised about the development fund and the fear of a rug from Devin's original thread, but also from others in the Discord. And they don't address that. I think they probably addressed it here anyway. Just sharing what they're actually doing with the development fund and how some of it they need to keep private as well. But anyway, that's important enough. So wrapping up drama, there's no shortage of a passion for what we are hoping to achieve with Zephyr, which is always great to see. We hope to avoid situations like these in the future and will strive to do better to mitigate them as much as we can. We won't be allowing an individual to gain so much prestige on the back of the Zephyr brand like we have done, because that will prevent people, doing a coup de grace or whatever they call it in the community. It caused much more damage than we would have expected to be possible. We can wear this protocol stress test with honor, and that's the big takeaway from this, is that we saw that Zeph works as expected. The core protocol is strong and resilient, along with better communication and continued development with this latest hard fork. The future will be bright. And that's, there's a lot more to read here actually as well, if you guys want to go and read from here. But I'm not going to read just some of those last points because they're just wrapping up the important kind of details of what they were sharing earlier on. But last thing I want to do is actually just look at Zeph and where it's at now. And as we can see, the price of Zeph is still really low from its all-time high with a market cap of 9 million. And it's just that this privacy stablecoin narrative isn't a huge narrative right now. But Zeph is a relatively new crypto, and it has pumped to, I think, a market cap already of close to 100 million. And Terra Luna was one of the top 10 cryptos not so long ago, and Zeph does what it does, but does it better. So you're gonna look at this and think to yourself that it has the potential to really be a successful crypto. I just even want to look at the all-time price chart, and as we can see, it's only listed on CoinMarketCap since December of last year, and so really new project. And at that time was kind of when we're around its all-time highs, and then it's had some crashes and ups and downs. But this should easily be able to hit those all-time highs again. It's possible that some whales were getting in then. Who even knows who's getting in then? And we can see that big dip that happened a while ago. And we can see that's made a moderate recovery. But, long term, as a risky play, and I mean long term, thinking beyond this next cycle, as a risky play, Zeph still looks like a great bet. So I think it's worth when I say a great bet, I mean investing 1% of your portfolio into Zeph as a super high risk play. It's worth checking out. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today, guys. I'll see you all on the outside.